Here is how the Starfield would look if we removed the atmosphere. The place is Canary Island, Spain. The lens that I used here has a 122-degree field of view, and as you can see, the stars never set because they are too high for perspective to make them rise or set. Their altitude now is about 4,000 miles. This number is fairly accurate and matches the rise and set times shown in the programs such as Stellarium. Now I am going to play the same video, but with the atmosphere or atmosphere added. As you can see, the video has changed completely and the star trails look exactly like the original picture. Here is the original taken on March 15, 2015. Now let's play the two videos side by side so you can see the effect of the atmosphere. We can do this from any location. They all work the same. And here is another test in France. Look at it carefully and compare it with the original, and let us know if we're doing anything wrong. And here is how the sun rises and sets in Salinas, California. We still need to make adjustments to the height of everything, but the atmosphere already makes them rise and set correctly. The atmosphere was the key to solving the puzzle.
This is a quick view of the stars in AutoCAD so you can understand how we drew them in Cinema 4D. All the stars you see on the model are 4,000 miles up, and the angles of the stars are accurate and they match modern science. We didn't make them up. And that Excel sheet on the left side of the screen shows all the data that we used. You can find it in the description. Here is a south view of the stars on the flat Earth with the atmosphere added. Now this should be enough for some trolls to see that wherever we are on the flat Earth, the sun and the stars will rise and set. And if they don't look like real life, then please try to understand that by adjusting the map and the height of all the objects in the sky can fix the problem. We still don't know for sure the heights of everything, and we still don't know for sure how the real map looks like. The point is that the atmosphere or atmosphere makes everything in the sky rise and set in Cinema 4D. If you think that the atmosphere should make things go up instead of down, then please talk to Cinema 4D programmers.
Up, and so you get sort of a convex lens of subjective atmosphere that basically follows you around wherever you go. And especially when observing celestial objects which are, well outside of the atmospheric bubble, the inbound light waves coming from such objects are necessarily affected by this bubble. This is what causes the setting and rising of the sun, the moon, as well as the stars. Yes, perspective has a lot to do with it. However, the atmosphere seems to exacerbate or aid in the operations of perspective, allowing the sun to rise and set, the moon and the stars as well. So with that in mind, there's a few other interesting things that happen within the subjective convex lens of atmosphere that surrounds us. So we'll just look real quick at a panoramic view of star trails, and the behavior of apparently from a single observational point. And again, this is sort of a time-lapse panoramic view. And if you take something like this, and I'm not saying that we live in a snow globe, what I'm saying is we all live within a subjective bubble of atmosphere that acts exactly like a convex lens. If you take something like this and apply it to, say, a spiral like this, then you get some pretty interesting effects. And just playing with this a little bit, yes, and again, special thanks to Curious J. Check out the YouTube channel. You can see how a convex lens will affect spiral shapes. And we know through either long exposure or time-lapse observation of Polaris that all of the other stars appear to go around Polaris. And there's a big hoopla about southern stars apparently rotating in the opposite direction, although this observation can be seen far north of the equator where the equatorial stars aren't even in view. Although this demonstration here sort of shows you an example of how a convex lens can apparently cause light to do funny things or appear to cause spiral patterns to do funny things. And again, I must reiterate, I'm not claiming that we live within a glass convex lens, but instead we all have a convex lens of atmosphere which follows us around everywhere and would necessarily distort star trail patterns in exactly the manner that we see here, which is fairly consistent with time-lapse panoramas of star trail patterns. And it is oddly reminiscent of a magnetic field, which is also very interesting. But just wanted to share this with you guys because there are explanations for apparent counter-rotation of the southern stars, including but not limited to the subjective convex lens of atmosphere that we all have following us around wherever we go. Also, the magnetic field of the Earth apparently being a magnetic vortex, magnetic vortices, which necessarily display the characteristic of counter-rotational velocities in the centripetal and centrifugal areas of that magnetic vortex. So southern star trails being counter-rotational to those in the north is not exclusive to a sphere, and frankly, without curvature or axial rotation to the Earth, then the Earth could not be a spinning sphere by basic fundamental physical definition. There's no theoretical mathematics needed, just simple observation, measurement, geometry, which literally etymologically means measure the Earth, a little bit of basic physics, and we all can clearly conclude without any sort of doubts that the Earth is certainly not a spinning sphere and is most certainly a stationary plane. And one more final thing to look at, I think it's sort of an interesting observation, but it is claimed by modern science that only spherical objects can cast spherical shadows, although nobody ever told these water bugs or bees on top of the water where their legs make little bitty indentations into the water through surface tension, and just that little bitty indentation in the surface of the water causes a fairly opaque and persistent shadow. And I'm not necessarily saying that space is water, although we do know that the atmosphere is comprised of gases, and gases on the macroscopic level behave as a liquid. And we also know through experiment that lower density gases such as hydrogen and helium tend to find their way up above the troposphere. And I believe there's good evidence to support the notion that such gases concentrated, very cold and condensed layer of hydrogen and helium, which is held in place by the static electric charge of the ionosphere or the magnetosphere itself. So not like a physical barrier in the sky, but an electromagnetic tendency for low density gases to remain within the Earth realm. It has nothing to do with gravity or the theoretical vacuum of space-time. It just has to do with the natural magnetic field of the Earth preventing low density gases from escaping. And yeah, this would also have nothing to do with any sort of purported physical enclosure, physical glass, structure. So with that, I think I've covered everything that I wanted to cover in this video. Hope y'all enjoyed it. If you'd like to support the channel and help me keep making videos and other efforts, you can do so directly via PayPal to www.paypal.me/themorgile1, or you can become a patron through Patreon for as little as $1 a month, or about 3 cents a day, at www.patreon.com/themorgile. And yeah, this is optional. You don't have to. All of my content is free. Although, should you choose to support the efforts, that's entirely up to you. Thanks so much. God bless you all. Spread the word, spread the world, and peace.